So guys, today we're going from this to this. So guys, here's the connector for the rear shock. It's mounted on a lip here. So what you need to do is take a tiny screwdriver, and push this lip to the side with a flat screwdriver, and then pull it down. Before you do that, you have to of course disconnect it, and you do that by pressing here and pulling straight up towards you. So this part will come out, and then set a flathead screwdriver to this lip, push it to the side, and then pull it down or press it down. Then the whole connector will come loose, and then you have to reroute it. Of course, you have to cut it here, and then inside here it's connected, and it's even looped through this bracket here, or what you may call it, where my finger is pointing to. So just pull it from underneath, and it will hang from the rear shock. Cannot see that, of course. I'll show you the connection when it's off. So guys, I finally gave in and decided to change the suspension. 3 years after buying this bike, I realized it was a mistake to have the DDC. Don't get me wrong, the DDC is good. It will take you only that far, but if you want to have a decent, pleasant, safe ride when you're on the edge, you will need to change the suspension. I don't know if you guys know that the DDC is not active when you're leaning the bike. DDC is only active when you're going straight. So as you can see, I removed the fuel tank just to get to the ECU and the dash. They are sent away to our good friends at the German friends at RS2E. I'll put a link in this video or in the comments on how to remove the ECU and the DDC. I've done, the display. I've done that before. They will remove the DDC, flash the ECU and the display, so I will not have any fault codes after removing the DDC. So today's project is trying to remove the rear shock, and to do that you will probably need something like this to have your bike on it, or just a regular stance so you can put under the foot pegs. This should be pretty easy. The race teams changed the rear suspension in under 10 minutes when it's raining. So they have two setups with different springs, softer for rain. So I've never done this, so let's do this together. What you need to do is remove any screws you have here so you can get the tray a bit loose. The reason for that is that the top bolt is under there, and you need to move this tray a bit to the side to be able to get to that bolt. Otherwise it's not going in straight. So what we need here is a TTX 55 hex, and we need to remove the bolt on top, and there is a bolt at the bottom there. So we start by removing the bolt here at the bottom. I will loosen that and get back to you. And hopefully before you have removed this cable, don't forget that. So guys, the bolt is out. It was screwed in with a high torque. I will get the torques probably and get back to you. Hopefully I will get it. And as you can see, the rear shock is loose here. It's moving and it's only attached to the top part. Please be cautious. Never ever remove the rear bolt without having the bike hanging from the ceiling or on a side stand like this. You will not only be able to do it with that stand. So next we do the same for the bolt up here, and then hopefully the shock will be completely loose, and we try to figure the way to remove it, bend it, turn it, twist it, so we can get it out. Hopefully we don't have to remove the rear frame to lift it up a little bit, but I'll get the other bolt on top and get back to you. So guys, the top one is out and the rear shock is completely loose. And hopefully we can just wiggle it this way and get it out. And there it is. As easy as 1, 2, 3. So you may wonder why I have a different color of spring in here on the standard shock, and that's the reason for that is that I had some maintenance done to the shocks, which I recommend you guys to do after basically every season. Change the oil, get the right spring for your weight, and that's the whole reason. I don't know anything about suspension. I know how it feels when you have the right suspension, how it feels when you have the wrong suspension, but setting damping, compression and stuff like that, there are guys who know that a whole lot better than I do. So I'm happy to leave the bike to somebody who set it for my weight and my riding style. So here's the top part. There's some debris there, and the bottom part of the suspension with the DDC, and we have the top bolt and the bottom bolt. Seems to be equal length on them, so it doesn't matter if you mix them up. I will clean these bolts, and next step is to put in the Ohlins suspension. So I got the dash back from our good friends from rs2e.de, and the ECU is back as well. So next step is to reinstall the Ohlins shock absorber in the rear, and it basically goes the same way that we took off the original one. So guys, before installing the rear shock, you need to make sure that the length of the shock is to your settings, and I have about 370 millimeters that I measured from center of this hole to center of this hole, and this is after I've been measuring the sag on my bike with the help of a friend, so I know that that's the length that I need. And if you were comfortable with what you had before, your old shock, you can measure the distance between these two holes on your old shock and make the same length here. So to change the ride height, this is what we're working with right now. You have to unscrew this, so you need two wrenches like this, one to hold this part and the other one to untie this. Then you set the length that you need and then you tighten them up again. So you have the preload adjustment here, and you have the compression, which is the yellow one or the gold one, and the rebound, which is the silver one. So we try to put this baby back into the bike and I'll get back to you. So guys, the shock goes basically straight in. I have dropped the swing, as you can see, because the bike is resting on these babies. So you have to wiggle it just to get it in. And then you need to align the holes on the top and the bottom and apply some thread lock to the bolts. I'm gonna need both my hands for this, so I will just put the bolts in and get back to you. So I just push the bottom bolt in and the top one is not in, as you can see right now. And as you can see, it's missing a bit to be in place. And you can use the rear swing. So if I push this up, this will align more. So play with it until you get the right place and then insert the bolts. I'll do that and get back. So guys, start by putting the top bolt in because it's pretty tight here and you cannot get it aligned. I tried to put the bottom one in first. So the top one is in, as you can see, it's not aligned there. We need this to align with that. And to be able to do that, you have to play with the swing, the rear swing. So if you lower it a little bit or raise it, the holes will align eventually. We're almost there, as you can see. And then insert the bottom one. Don't forget to put some thread locks on your bolts. I'll do that and get back to you. So both of the bolts are in now. I don't know if you can see that. So we need to tighten these with a TX 55, and the torques that you need is 50 Newton meters. That is according to Alpha Racing's page. So I'm going to torque them to 50. I'll do that and get back to you. So guys, the rear suspension is in, and I'm gonna go with the recommended settings from Ohlins. I recommend that you do that as well if you don't know your settings or what you like. So you start by the recommended, then you can adjust there from there. I have no clue about suspension settings, so I'm not gonna give you any advice more than just go with the recommended. Although how you set these is just turn them all the way in clockwise till it stops clicking, both rebound and compression. And then when you're at the bottom, many clicks here, when you're at the bottom, twist them anti-clockwise once till it snaps, and then you twist them as many times as the setting says. So I'm going to check that and put the setting back up. So all the way in first, and then check your manual, and if it says 12 clicks on the rebound, you turn this anti-clockwise 12 steps. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe and comment if you have any questions. I'll try to answer them as fast as I can. So next up is getting the Ohlins in the front as well. And that video is coming pretty soon.